Hi guys, this is really informal. There's no sheets on my bed. It just kind of worked out that way. I guess you can tell from the title of the video what's going on. Nick stayed home from work today to help with the girls, and I'm making this video because I know that after some time goes by, I'm going to be more detached from how I'm feeling right now, so I wanted to make it right now. I just wanted to make it right now because I know that later on I tend to really process things quickly and move on from things quickly, and probably after a few days have gone by and I've processed this more, my emotions are going to be different. And I know that unless you're someone who watches my videos religiously, if you've searched for this video and found it, you're probably in a similar mood that I'm in right now. Oh, I'm getting hot. You're probably feeling similar to how I'm feeling right now, so I feel like watching the video, I wanted to kind of be on this level so that I can connect a little bit more with women who are going through this. Because like I said, if you're watching this right now, you're probably going through this. So let's just start off. If you're new to my channel, like who I am and like my history. So my name's Aaryn. I have a 2-year-old. She just turned 2 in June, and a 9-month-old who's going to be 10 months in just a couple days. So they're like 17, 18 months apart. I got pregnant on my first try with both of them. So I've never experienced this before. The closest thing I've experienced to it was about a month ago. I had a chemical pregnancy, which just means that I got a super faint line on a couple of pregnancy tests. I got super faint lines, and the next day they were gone. I got like one more super faint line, and then they just completely went away, and my period just came, or what I assumed was a period just came. I don't remember how many days later, but it did eventually come. So to me, that was like a chemical pregnancy because I never got like a dark line on a pregnancy test. So I considered that to be chemical since it was extremely early. I never got a positive digital test. By the way, our toilet is running and we haven't been able to get it fixed. So I'm sorry that that's annoying. That's going on in the background. It's been annoying me for days. We need to get it fixed. So anyway, that was super early, so I considered that a chemical pregnancy, and it did make me sad. It's a sad situation no matter what, and no matter how faint of a line you get on your pregnancy test, whether you get a digital or not, whether you go into the doctor or not, it's always a sad thing when you see the second line, you think you're pregnant and then you're not. So since we had the chemical pregnancy last month, I had been excited about possibly having a third baby, in the same spacing as my first 2 daughters are. My oldest daughter's name is Skyla, and my second daughter's name is Adeline. And I had kind of gotten excited about that idea. So after that point, we haven't really been preventing. We haven't been trying, but we haven't been preventing. And it's really kind of impossible for us to try because I'm still breastfeeding, and not regularly. I probably breastfeed maximum 3 times a day. Like that's like max. So I'm still not having regular periods. I've only had literally just one period since my daughter, who's almost 10 months old, was born. So I couldn't be like trying or tracking or anything like that, even if I wanted to, because ovulation tests are positive every single day for me because I'm nursing. So I did want to test and see if I was ovulating and when I was ovulating, and I tried that, and literally for like 2 weeks straight they were just all positive. So I don't know when I'm ovulating. I can kind of tell by some symptoms when I'm ovulating, but anyway, let's fast forward a little bit. Like on the weekend of, I think, September 14th, we went to Iowa for a wedding. Since I'm not getting regular periods, I take pregnancy tests all the time because I'm always thinking that if I'm not getting a period, then I'm pregnant. So I'm like a serial tester. The day before we left for Iowa, I took a test and it was negative. We got back on a Sunday, and that night we flew in, we got home from the airport. I think that was the 16th of September. I want to check. Yeah, it was the 16th of September, so that was 9 days ago. I got a really faint positive line on an Amazon test, and I showed it to Nick, and he was like, yeah, I don't think it's anything though, because last month you had that and then it went away. So he's like, I don't think it's anything. Just wait and see if it gets darker, and then if it gets darker, then maybe you're pregnant and you're going to stay pregnant, but if it doesn't get darker, then we'll know that you're not. And I was like, no, I have to go get a digital. Like, I see this second line, like I think I'm pregnant. I want to go get a digital. He's like, whatever. So I go get a digital, and it comes back and says, yes, I'm pregnant.
Lying awake with the sound of an emptiness you left behind. Trying to sleep, but the silence is haunting this room every night. Oh, I wish the sun would rise and see the clouds pass by. I didn't want to say goodbye to you, but you're gone. I don't wanna close my eyes. It feels like I'm falling down, falling down. Why won't they go away? Pictures of you in my head. The way you left broke my heart. I'm breathing the air of this morning, but it's not the same without you. Wearing the t-shirt you left, but it no longer smells like you do. I can't stand to feel this way. My body's screaming out your name. I didn't want to say goodbye to you, but you're gone.
So immediately getting a digital pregnancy test, in my experience, since I've never had a miscarriage before, I just thought, I guess I did have the chemical pregnancy, but like I said, in that one, I didn't get a digital yes. So this time I was like, oh, it's set in stone. I got a digital yes. Like, I'm pregnant. Like, this pregnancy is going to go 9 months. The thought of miscarriage didn't even cross my mind. I am still breastfeeding, like I said, maybe 3 times a day max. So I thought, like, I've heard that breastfeeding can cause it, but like newer research says it's completely safe to breastfeed while you're pregnant. So I didn't think anything of it. I called like literally the next day and made an appointment with a new OB, and we're going to get into that drama. But with a new OB, because we just moved here. We've moved, I think, like 4 times in 4 years or something. And we've been in different areas, and it's just like I've never had an OB long enough to like be an established patient. So I called him Monday, and I was like, I'm a new patient. I just got a positive pregnancy test. I need to schedule with a new doctor for like my confirmation ultrasound and all of that. So they made me an appointment, which was supposed to be on October 1st, was going to be my first ultrasound, which is why I haven't said anything yet, because usually I will wait until my first ultrasound to share the news. And so the reason that they wanted it to be on October 1st is because I thought that I knew my conception date, which would be my birthday, September 3rd. I thought that was my conception date. Like I was pretty positive that September 3rd was my conception date. I guess it might not be, but I think it is. So that's when they made my appointment for. So, everything was going fine. I filled out a ton of paperwork online in their portal. The lady was super sweet to me on the phone, so I was really excited. And this particular practice has tons of good reviews. They have like hundreds of good reviews, and they have like 4.5 stars, which I haven't been able to find in like all of my time. In Katy, I found a great one, but like where we lived in Georgia, I could not find one with that many good reviews. And as a matter of fact, my practice had not good reviews, and I ended up really liking them, but still, I was really excited. So then that was on Monday. So then Thursday comes around, and I started spotting a little bit, but like barely anything, and it was like pink. Let me make sure. I wrote down like I don't want to miss anything because I'm just so emotional. So I'm emotional. So I don't want to forget anything. So Thursday I started spotting. It was like barely anything, and it was pink. By the way, if you're like a friend or family member and you don't want to hear anything graphic, you might not want to watch this video. Call me or text me if you have questions, but if it's going to gross you out, or if this is like going to trigger you, you should probably click out, because it's going to get graphic. So it was just like pink and barely anything, just like spotting a little bit. I didn't think anything of it because I spotted this time during what I thought was implantation, and I never spotted at all with either of my 2 pregnancies, not even a drop. Actually, maybe I did, but like maybe it was just like the smallest amount of blood. I'm trying to remember. But the thing is, it was never like this, and I'm going to get into that. I think if I did spot in my previous pregnancies, now that I say that, I think I did spot a little bit in the beginning with them, and I think it was like brown, which means it's old blood, like dried up blood. You know, it's not new blood, it's not fresh blood. So Thursday was just a little bit of spotting, but in between when I got my positive test on Sunday and Thursday, my lines were progressively getting each day a little bit darker, not a lot darker. They weren't doubling in darkness, and I guess in hindsight now, that should have been an alarm bell for me maybe, but I didn't think. I just thought because they were getting a little darker every day, I thought that was great news. And so even on Thursday, the test was a little bit darker. On Friday, the test was darker, but then I started spotting a little bit like brown, and I still didn't think anything of it on Friday because I was like, it's not that big of a deal because it's...
You want to cook your pizza?
No, I'm good. I thought like Nick is being a good husband today. So I thought like, since it was brown, like I thought like that doesn't mean, because when you Google it, it says pink or brown spotting isn't to be like alarmed about. It says spotting in pregnancy can be super normal. So even then I thought no big deal because my tests were still getting darker every day. And I don't know why. I have been testing every day. I never did that with Skyla or Adeline. After I got a digital positive, I stopped testing. I think, gosh, it's like, it's so hard because I forget this stuff, but I know I didn't test like this. I definitely didn't test every single day and line up my test how I am now. Like, I have lined these tests up, like a lot of them, every day since I got my positive. So in like nine days of test, I guess including today, so about 9 days. I think on some days I may have taken 2. I don't know. This is becoming a blur to me. So Saturday rolls around, and then I start bleeding red, like, and that's when my heart sank, and I knew it wasn't like a lot. It wasn't like I could see it in my underwear, and when I peed, like I could see it on the toilet paper. It was red. It wasn't like bright red yet, but it was getting red. And then Sunday, it started to be a lot more. And then I remember Sunday morning, I called the on-call doctor, and she said on Monday morning to call and come in and have blood work done. She said I could come in like on Monday and have blood work done and then repeat on Wednesday, and just to make sure that my HCG and progesterone levels, like my hormone levels, are rising correctly. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So, but I remember on Sunday my back started hurting a little bit. I was like having back pain. I was a little bit crampy, and I still had the red blood, but it wasn't like, I didn't need a panty liner yet. It was just still spotting, even though it was bright red. So Monday morning rolls around. Let me make sure that we're still in line of what I wanted to talk about. Oh, mind you, like that in these past 9 days, we've thought of like names. Like I have 2 full names picked out. If it's a boy or a girl, I already have those names picked out. We've already decided all of that. I already started thinking about how I was going to announce. I've actually ordered all the stuff already for how I was going to announce. You know, the second that you see a positive pregnancy test, you start planning for this new baby to be a part of your family. So 9 days might not seem like a lot of time to you guys, but it is an eternity when you're planning for extending your family. It feels like this new person, this new baby is already a part of your family. So I just want to get that out of the way right now. If any of you are watching that's wondering, like, how can I be upset? That's why. So Monday rolls around, and guys, this is where it just gets so beyond. So Monday I start bleeding heavier. I start having to wear panty liners. That was yesterday. I started having to wear panty liners, and I'm bleeding a lot, and every time I go pee, it's just tons of blood in the toilet. It's always coming out. Like, just bad news. Like, and I felt like on Monday night, like I knew. Last night I sobbed. But I'm totally getting ahead of myself. So I called right at 8 a.m. I call, and I'm calling my OB's office, and they're like, you're number 2 in line. And I'm not kidding you. I waited as number 2 in line to get a hold of this OB for 45 minutes. They pick up the phone at 45 minutes, and I tell them what I'm dealing with, and they're like, well, you're not an established patient of ours, so we can't draw your blood. We can't help you because you're not our patient. We don't know you. We've never seen you before. We can't help you. And I said, I don't have a doctor here yet. I just moved here. I've already made my appointment for October 1st. I filled out all the forms online for you guys. Like I feel like I already am a patient because I already have my first appointment, and I don't have anyone else to go to. And I specifically said, like, who can I go to do this if you won't do this for me? Because I don't have a doctor right now. And she was like, she goes, please hold, and sends me to a voicemail, of course, because they don't want to deal with it. Sends me to someone's voicemail, a random person's voicemail. It was like a cell phone, like, answering on the voicemail. Of course, that person never called me back. So I call back, like, furious, because I had just waited 45 minutes to get a hold of someone, and they just threw me to a random answering machine. And for women, when you're going through this, like, you just want compassion and help. And then I get another person, and they're like, well, let me put you through to triage or someone, I don't know. And then I go through to this line, and it goes straight to the voicemail on that too. And then by the 3rd time I called, I was like fired up. I was like, listen, I just need someone to help me. Just tell me what to do. Like, I need somebody to help me. I want to get a blood test. I'm bleeding. I'm scared. Like, this has never happened to me before. This is my 3rd pregnancy. What can I do? And finally, this woman's like, let me talk to your doctor, the one that I have the scheduled appointment with. And she goes, let me see if I can get approval from her, and I'll call you back. So at the end of the day, or the afternoon, it felt like the end of the day. It felt like ages. She calls me back, and she was so nice, and she was like, hi, I talked to the doctor, and she's totally, like, can get you in for an ultrasound. She wants to move your ultrasound up, and we want to get you in on Monday for your blood test, or today for your blood test. That was Monday. So I went in, like, in the late afternoon, had my blood drawn, asked the lab when I could expect results, and they said that it could take 3 to 4 days, but it just depends on when the doctor reads it. So that upset me. And then they wanted to schedule my ultrasound, but I couldn't go in. They didn't have anything available Monday. Tuesday, which is today, they could get me in, but I didn't know that Nick was going to stay home from work today. So the next time that I could go in without the girls would be Friday, because my nanny watches them Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. So I was going to be able to go in Friday morning. So I made that appointment. I still have that appointment scheduled on Friday morning. So last night, we'll get to today in a minute. I was about to go into what's happening today, but so last night, Nick gets home from work. I had been texting him all day, like, what was going on. And he got home from work, and I just was, like, bleeding more and more. The bleeding was getting heavier. I was starting to get a little bit crampy and a little bit sore. And I just started sobbing, like crying and sobbing. And I didn't expect to have that reaction because I have 2 beautiful, healthy daughters that I love more than the world. They're the light of my life. I'm so lucky and blessed to have them. My life and my family, it is complete in a way. And this is so early too that I feel almost guilty for being so upset about this, because it's only been 9 days of feeling that I'm pregnant. Not feeling that I'm pregnant, knowing that I'm pregnant. And becoming attached to adding an addition to our family. And I just had so many emotions, and I just was so sad. Then last night, the reason that there's no sheets on my bed is because I woke up just in blood, just blood everywhere. Sorry. I never got a call today about my blood test. I called this evening before they closed, and they didn't have any results for me. I was really hoping that they would, but they didn't. I took a test this morning, and it was lighter than yesterday. I took a test in the afternoon, and I could barely even see the line. And then I took a test just now, and I can see the line, but it's extremely faint. And then I took this digital pregnancy test, and it says yes still. It's weird, because I know that I'm losing the baby, because the tests are getting lighter. I'm bleeding so much. Like, the only thing, and I don't know why I even have like a little bit of hope left, because it's so clear to me that I'm having a miscarriage. But I haven't had any severe cramps. I haven't passed any clots. And so for some reason, I'm holding on to a little bit of hope. But I know when I go in on Friday, there's going to be nothing there. I know it. But I will say this. This experience has made me appreciate my healthy pregnancies so much more, because all I've known is healthy pregnancies. Other than last month when I had the chemical pregnancy, I had 2 pregnancies that resulted in beautiful, healthy babies. And so I have so much more appreciation and understanding for women who go through this, because there are women who go much further in their pregnancy to only have like a late miscarriage or stillbirth. And that is something that I don't know how you recover from. I don't know how anybody can recover from that. So for me to feel like this after 9 days, I just have such an appreciation for the women who've gone through this, no matter at what point it happened, but also appreciation for my healthy pregnancies and for my daughters. I just feel so blessed to have children. This has really humbled me and made me just so grateful. I feel like I'm having a hot flash right now. We've got the timer going on this because my lines are pretty much gone now. It's Wednesday, and I just got my blood test results back from Monday, and it's not good news. I am down to 25.8 MIU of HCG, which is between 3 and 4 weeks pregnant, and I would be, if I conceived when I thought I would be, about 5 weeks right now, and that's a really low number. I had my blood redrawn just now today, and I just know that when they call me, they called me today while I was editing. I was at the coffee shop editing, and they called me and said, they told me that it was low. They said to come in for a repeat today, so I went in for a repeat. Friday's my ultrasound, like I said, so I'll know Friday, but it's just like, I'm still bleeding. I know that it's over, but for some reason I haven't let go of it. What the heck? This just said yes. This doesn't make any sense. Like, my tests are getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Like, why does this keep saying yes? So here's the paperwork. This is how much HCG, and this is for weeks, how much HCG should be in your system. So that would put me between 3 and 4 weeks with this much. HCG in my system. So I think that if I conceived when I think like I would be at least 5 weeks. I think I'd be like 5.5 weeks or so. Maybe just barely 5. I don't know. I just can't like, this was my last digital test too. This morning, the test with the dye line was even lighter, and I told her on the phone, I was like, my home pregnancy tests are getting lighter and lighter. I think that I'm definitely having a miscarriage. And she was like, well, that can be a really unreliable way to know. She asked me about my bleeding. I told her, and she was like, well, you know, we'll know more after your second blood test, which I just had. So hopefully they'll either call me tomorrow or we'll know Friday morning. Okay. I just got out of my appointment, and I have to tell you guys, I'm really just happy to be moving on from this. I'm happy to have gone in for this appointment to just have everything confirmed. First, I went in for an ultrasound, and there was nothing there, and I knew that there was going to be nothing there because my tests are negative now. So that wasn't like a big shock. It wasn't like, you know, where some people don't know that anything's wrong and then they go all this time until their first appointment and then there's nothing there. It wasn't like that at all. Like I already knew what to expect. And then I went in and had the conversation with the doctor after, and she said that in my second blood test, my HCG was down to 4 MIU. And last time it was 25.8, which means that it was just tapering off. So she said, you know, they did a pelvic exam, and the ultrasound, she said that there's still clots. Sorry, this video is I've already said a lot of TMI stuff in this video, but there are clot settles that still are going to be passed. So I'm just, you know, now all that's left, because tests are negative. If I wanted to even take a test when I got home, I know it would be negative. Everything's negative at this point. So now all I have to do is just wait to be done bleeding. Once I'm done bleeding, like, you know, it won't be a constant reminder of this, and I can just move on. That's just my personality. You know, it was sad, and that's why I wanted to pick up the camera the day that I did, because that was probably, when I first started filming this, that was like my saddest day of this, because it was a shock. The whole thing was a shock. So, but yeah, I'm gonna close out here because there's not really much else left to say about it. But I wanted to let you guys know, and I wanted to share my experience because this happens to so many women, and I felt like the right thing for me to do would be to share my experience and what happened to me with an early miscarriage, and just the timeline of events of that. So if you're going through this, I know how you feel. I know what an early miscarriage feels like, and I know what a chemical pregnancy feels like now. So yeah, so I don't know what else to say. This is kind of awkward. I don't know how to really close out this video other than to just say this is what happened, and my heart is with you if you've gone through something similar.
Pictures of you in my head, the way you left broke my heart.